Imagine you're sick with a fever. You're weak, dizzy, barely standing. A doctor walks in, and the treatment is simple. They drain your blood. Not a little, sometimes a lot. And for more than 2,000 years, this was considered serious medicine. Welcome to Failed Science Theories, the channel where we autopsy ideas that once looked like science, until reality pulled the plug. Today, bloodletting. The cure used for infections, headaches, pneumonia, even mental illness, that often made patients worse. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Bloodletting didn't survive because people were clueless. It survived because it was built on a theory that sounded coherent, matched what doctors thought they observed, and was protected by tradition and authority. So the real question isn't, how could anyone believe this? It's why did it feel so convincing for so long? To understand that, you have to meet the idea behind it, the four humors. Ancient Greek medicine taught that your body was governed by four fluids: blood, phlegm, yellow bile, and black bile. Health meant balance. Disease meant imbalance. So if you had a fever or inflammation or you looked flushed, doctors could interpret that as too much blood. And if the problem is excess, the solution feels obvious. Remove some. Bloodletting came in different flavors. Sometimes it was venesection, cutting a vein and collecting blood in a bowl. Sometimes it was leeches. And sometimes it was cupping, using suction to pull blood toward the surface, often combined with small cuts. Different tools. Same goal: subtract blood to restore balance. Now, does that ever help? In a few specific cases, removing blood can actually be useful, like certain rare conditions where the body truly has too many red blood cells, or too much iron. Modern medicine still uses therapeutic phlebotomy for those. But that's not what historical bloodletting was. Historical bloodletting was a universal hammer, and every illness looked like a nail. So why did doctors think it worked? Because when you bleed someone, something dramatic happens immediately. Their pulse may slow. They might feel lightheaded. They might become calmer. Sometimes they even fall asleep. To an observer, that can look like improvement. But often it's not healing. It's shock, dehydration, and sudden loss of blood pressure. And here's another trick. Many illnesses get better on their own. If a patient recovers after being bled, the treatment gets credit. If the patient dies, the explanation is easy: they came too late, or the disease was too strong, or worse, we should have bled more earlier. That logic makes a bad treatment nearly impossible to falsify. Bloodletting wasn't just a fringe practice either. It was mainstream. It was taught, defended, and passed down like a sacred recipe. And once a treatment becomes part of what a real doctor does, it's hard to kill, because admitting it's wrong means admitting harm. One of the most infamous examples involves George Washington. In December 1799, he became seriously ill, likely with a severe throat infection. Over a short period, doctors removed a massive amount of blood. Washington died. Was bloodletting the only reason? Probably not. But when someone is already struggling to breathe, removing blood volume is the last thing they need. It is a perfect snapshot of the danger. The treatment can push a borderline patient over the edge. So what finally ended bloodletting? Not one single discovery, more like a slow collapse. As medicine moved toward measuring outcomes, not just following tradition, bloodletting started to fail in public. Doctors noticed that aggressive bleeding often led to weaker patients, longer recovery, and higher death rates in infections. Then came a bigger shift: germ theory, pathology, and modern physiology. Disease wasn't an imbalance of mystical fluids. It was bacteria, viruses, inflammation, organ failure, and immune responses. Once you understand that, the logic of bloodletting stops feeling clean and starts feeling cruel. But the real lesson isn't, oh, doctors were dumb. The lesson is that a treatment can feel rational inside the wrong theory and still hurt people. If you don't test outcomes properly, confidence is not evidence. Tradition is not proof. And it worked for centuries might just mean we never measured. Bloodletting is medicine's warning label. If a cure is dramatic, painful, and popular, that doesn't make it true, it just makes it memorable. If you want the next autopsy, subscribe. And comment, what modern health trend do you think future science will laugh at?